There was a certain kind of comment that I was getting more than I expected on my Remarkable Paper Pro review. And if I was to summarize all of those comments, they would go something like this: you're thinking about this product wrong. While I was focused on things that other e-ink tablets can do that the Remarkable 2 can't, I should have instead been seeing that as a benefit. In a world filled with distractions and options and opportunities and to-do lists and social media trying to drag you away from whatever you're trying to accomplish, having a blank page to type or write or draw on without distraction is the point. The Remarkable Paper Pro gives you an empty page and leaves you alone with your thoughts. Hello, my name is Brad. I review tech for creative professionals, and 6 months on, I've come to understand that a lot of people love the Remarkable Paper Pro because of that. It appeals to them because of what it's not. It's not an Android tablet that just happens to have an e-ink screen and has great battery life. It's an opinionated device that asks you to do something rare in tech. Come to it on its own terms. So last week I spent 2 days working in bed after hurting my back, shoveling snow. It's been a stupid, brutal winter here in Ohio, and as I laid there trying to work, I found myself doing everything but work. I was watching YouTube, doom scrolling, starting things on my to-do list, and then pulling myself away from them so I could go back to my all-important doom scrolling. And I thought back to those comments about the Paper Pro, and I thought maybe I should give this another shot. It's been several months now. Take some of the things off my to-do list that I can do on the Remarkable and focus on those things for an afternoon or a day or two. I wanted to write a script for an upcoming video, and I ended up writing 2, the second script being this one that I'm reading to you right now. And then the other thing I want to do is I've been drawing hands, practicing my illustration a lot for an upcoming video on my other channel. Also working on some drawings and sketches that are going to make their way into that video as well, so I can do some of that there too. Rewatching my original video, my criticism stemmed from liking a lot of the aspects of the hardware, but feeling that it was held back by the software. I wanted to use this for a lot more than I could. I wanted to draw and sketch, but then my drawings would then be trapped on this device. I, of course, could export an image or email my sketches to myself, but it's not like a fully featured image that it's sending to you that's editable in other programs like Photoshop or Procreate or something like that. Or I might want to write a script on this, but I use Google Docs for everything, so I can access my scripts from anywhere and use them anywhere, read them anywhere. Here, I would have to manually export that document, send it out to myself, probably wait like 5 minutes for the email to arrive, and then take that text out and put it into a Google document. That's a lot of extra steps. Not to mention that the battery life of this device is far less than what I would expect on other e-ink devices, even if you have the backlight turned off. All of these are still present. All the things I said in my original video still holds true. And as I've been forcing myself to draw a lot of hands this month, I would finish one drawing of a hand and then I would putter around and do other tasks, maybe get up for some water or something like that. Then I'd come back and I'd draw another hand. Totally inefficient. A total waste of time. And here, yes, I did have a better time focusing because there wasn't anything else I could do with that tablet once I finished one hand except for go along and draw the next hand. Now, of course, I am a little hesitant here to tell people to go out and spend $800 on a tablet to solve this problem for yourself because it's a problem that you could solve anywhere else, but this tablet is specifically designed for that train of thought, that way of thinking. So I did wind up appreciating this more this time than I did last time. But I wouldn't say that it's going to rank higher on my website. If you're new here, I rank all the stuff that I review over on my website. So if you just want one place where you can see all those products that I've checked out, like my e-ink page, you could see it there. But I have gained a much greater understanding of why people love this thing so much. Now, in my full review, I talk about how I do like drawing on this thing. Don't expect to make finished artwork on this like you would on a normal tablet. Think of this as like a paper sketchbook that just happens to be digital. This is for sketching, not full colored finished art, even though it does have a colored e-ink screen. There's a downgrade here over the old Remarkable 2. They swapped out the old Wacom Power Pen for a USI stylus. This was probably like a cost thing because licensing Wacom tech, everything Wacom does tends to be expensive. Licensing that is probably very expensive compared to using an open standard like USI. And this stylus has 2 downsides over the old one. First, it's a battery-powered stylus, and it charges along the side of the tablet, where the old pen was battery-free, so you never had to worry about it charging. I think part of the battery drain problem. I don't know if it's necessarily a problem here. The battery drains faster here, and I think part of that comes from the fact that the pen is attached to the side and pulling battery from the device a lot. The second downside of the pen is the line quality itself. It's just not that smooth. USI styluses just aren't really built for line art and that sort of thing. For sketching, drawing, writing, it's okay though. And that's why that second part didn't bother me as much this time around, because I was just sketching hands. I was just sketching out ideas. I was just capturing my thoughts in drawings. Overall though, I really did enjoy sketching on this once I got into that flow, and that's because there is a texture over this display. While other tablets are worried about crisp colors and punchy blacks and bright whites, that contrast you get on like those OLED screens, this is an e-ink display. You got none of that. So they can crank up the grittiness, that matte texture over the screen, which makes this pen feel really, really good. Like you're drawing on paper. It is one of the closest feels, paper-like feels, you're gonna find on any tablet out there. Now, if you are looking at this as an illustrator, as someone who wants to draw on it more than write on it, there are some quirks that you should know about. Like the drawing app that is installed here is pretty limited, while other e-ink devices are really just Android tablets dressed up as e-ink readers, and oftentimes they will let you go out and use the Android store to download whatever you want. Here you are stuck to that one app, which is limited compared to Clip Studio, Procreate, Krita, all of those other apps you're going to find out there. But there are some quality of life things that you'd expect from any drawing app available here, even though they're not quite as robust. I was surprised to get in here and find out there's like some hand gestures, like 2-finger tap on the screen to undo. And in some other ways, the e-ink aspect of it, the e-ink screen tends to hold this back, like the eraser, for example. If you're erasing a line, you can't see it erase in real time. You kind of have to erase it, and then when you lift it up, the screen refreshes, and then you can see what you erased. So if you're erasing large areas, or you're trying to get real precise with it, it can be a little bit finicky. And the eraser doesn't feel nearly as organic as the pen and drawing does. Now, writing was more fun than I expected. For the original review, Remarkable sent along a keyboard accessory too. I didn't really use it too much other than to just type it out, see how it felt. It's fine. It has these super thin chiclet keys, very low travel, just like any keyboard you'd expect on an iPad or a Surface tablet or something like that. It's just tactile enough to give you feedback and work well. I'm used to these. I like these. Even though I have like a full-blown mechanical keyboard that I use for most of my writing, I can still get along on one of these. There is a focus button on the keyboard. You tap it, it takes away all of the other tools off the screen, so you're just writing. You just see text, like you're using a typewriter here. You are still able to do some things like pinch and zoom in if you want to make it a little bit bigger, kind of have that text fill up more of the screen. Now, when I was writing, I found myself having my laptop open off to my side anyway. A lot of my writing consists of me saying something or explaining my thoughts and then asking myself, wait, I better double check and see if that's true. There's a lot of Googling involved to writing one of these scripts. You just can't do that on this tablet. It doesn't have a web browser. It does have some basic like editing tools, like text editing tools. If you are a power user coming from Google Docs or Word, you are gonna miss a lot of features, I think it's kind of the same way with the drawing apps. If you're a power user of those drawing apps, you're going to miss those features. This is really bare bones. Also, doing small things when writing didn't feel as smooth on e-ink as it does on other screens that I was used to. Tapping anywhere on a paragraph to kind of get the placement right where you want it was usually off by a couple characters. The spell check, not nearly as robust as it is in most other modern day word processing apps. And when I write and I have a thought, I think, hey, this thought should actually go in the paragraph I wrote like 3 paragraphs ago. So no problem. I just tap and I scroll up and I go there. The problem is that e-ink screen, again, is every time you scroll, it knows how far you scroll, but you can't see it actually scroll. And so the page then will refresh and you've completely lost where you are on that page. And so you have to go reading like, where am I? How far did I scroll? And if you want to just scroll up or down a little bit, just moving your finger a tiny bit on the screen doesn't always activate it as a scroll. And I would imagine if you had to scroll around a larger document to do edits or copy and paste or that sort of thing, this sort of stuff would get kind of frustrating. But despite all of that, overall, I did enjoy my time writing and drawing on this. Not because of the experience of the product, but because I was writing and drawing. I wasn't watching videos. I wasn't listening to music. I wasn't being distracted. I was just creating. There is so much satisfaction in being able to think clearly. And it really put into contrast this moment of time that we're living in right now, where every other tech company is tripping over themselves to shove AI into their products so the computer can do the thinking and creating for you. And this was something that was incredibly refreshing, to be using something that is doing the exact opposite. What people see of your artwork or your writing is the finished product. They see it as content, but what makes an illustration useful are all the decisions you make along the way. The entire point of writing something, writing a script, is to distill your thoughts down and express the experience that you had with a product. The actual act of writing slows you down to the speed that you can actually type. It forces you to focus. It is literally the act of thinking. And so to the commenters who said I was missing the point the first time around, yeah, I get it more now. I can't replace everything that I do with this tablet. I don't think you should be thinking about this way. But I do understand more why people appreciate it. And even though I don't think I'm going to come back to this device, I learned something here. I'll definitely try to recapture the focus that this device gave me on other things that I already own, my laptop, my iPad, Android tablets. And those are my general thoughts. Thanks for watching to the end. If you're interested in learning art, check out my Learn to Draw in 60 Days course over on my website, bradsartschool.com, really aimed at beginners, people who want to pick up a fun new hobby. There's a link in the description down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days.